Yeah, 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 yeah. Look. Never switch on the homies in the day ones. They didn't wanna open doors, so we made some. Take a bow on these haters like I'm Trey Young. That direct deposit hitting like a bass drum. Incoming, coming, keep it incoming, coming, keep it incoming, keep it incoming.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Bottle Rocket. I'm Alena, here with Mave and Ariel. Hi guys, how are you?
Hey.
We're still coming down from a high. I don't mind telling you that we were rooting very, very hard for America. And I'm very emotional. I was yelling, screaming the whole. I actually was coaching the Americans. They weren't listening to me for most of the time. And Ariel, who was a player, was it Buffalo Cubs? Is that the team?
No,
but I mean
I played in the Swiss top league in the under 18s and 17s and 20 actually, and then I moved to the U.S. Played there for about 2 years, and then I came back here.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Did you like the game, I bet?
Yeah, I love it. And
It was so
USA has
stressful.
always been kind of engraved in like the family. I think my younger sister is also, I think she's about 17 now.
17.
And she's always been in mid-ams, USA tryouts, and hopefully she gets on it soon, the women's team.
Abigail is the captain of her Culver team. And both Ariel and Abigail played in Switzerland for 2 years.
Wow.
But I want to get to the game. I'm going to give you my feelings about it. And I read before the game, NHL.com did a wonderful job polling the hockey people. I forget how many, but I think it came to about 8. And it was tilted, I believe it was either 8-2 in favor of the Canadians to win, and at least there were 2 or 3, at least 2, and I think a third one. So it would come out to 7-3 in favor of Canada. And I felt, trying to be objective, even though it was impossible, that with McDavid, with McKinnon, they had the talent. You guys had the talent. So to me, the only way the Americans could win, assuming that Canada had the talent, which they did, was 2 factors. These are the 2 key factors watching the game and watching any game, but this game in particular. Canada's favor, you had the better talent, and what we saw and what I was yelling and screaming about for most of the game, possession. Because it could be me watching my granddaughter's team play, and I'm yelling possession, possession. You got the puck. You can't score without a puck unless there's, an invisible puck. So you got to have possession in order to score. That's how the 2 American goals were scored. They had possession. The first goal was right in front, and he got it in, and the winning goal was a fantastic shot. The one goal by Canada by McCarr was a terrific shot. I was yelling that Hellebuck should have stopped it. It's easy to say because you wanted to stop it, but Canada had possession and they outshot the USA by a lot, but goalkeeping.
Absolutely.
I'm writing a story now about the 72 Olympics where the American team was considered either the 6 out of 6, the worst of the 6, or 5th out of the 6. That's how bad they were going into the thing, and they won because they had this goalkeeper, Lefty Curran. They didn't win the gold; they won a silver, but that was tremendous for them to get anything. They were considered so bad. So you had Hellebuck. There were so many close calls around the net, and he stopped 3 breakaways from very good players, including Celebrini had one, right?
Yeah.
McDavid had a breakaway as well. McDavid had a breakaway. I was kind of really.
How does this guy so great not score on a breakaway? Now there's the thing that we were looking at. Guy's never won a cup, and this was his chance for the gold. And to me, he wasn't the best player on the ice for Team Canada. I was mostly interested in Uncle Sam's team, but he didn't dominate the game the way we thought he might. A lot of people thought he might, and they thought because they had McDavid and McKinnon, and that they had the guys. So it came down to possession. Canada had possession. Canada outshot them by a ton. You know what the final shots were?
It was like 43 to like 20 something, I think.
It was a huge difference, and there was one save made by one of his players in the crease that looked like it was going in.
Well, I think just the most insane. I mean, there were so many chances. I mean, McKinnon just totally missed an open net.
Yeah.
I mean, that was insane. I thought, okay, there you go, 2-1, that's it. But I mean, that was just the hockey gods, honestly.
We got so many chances.
The paddle save on Devon Toews was insane. I mean, that was just. There's so many chances that they had. And then you have the McDavid breakaway earlier, and I was like, oh, here we go again. And then Celebrini on a breakaway. There was just so many chances. And
well, what about? Wait a minute. What we forgot about? America was 2 men short. You guys had a 5-on-3.
Oh.
Almost.
That's embarrassing. You didn't bring it up. I was like, how can you go against 3 and not score? It was. I mean, Connor Hellebuck was standing on his head. I was kind of hoping he's going to pull the playoffs, Connor, but he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Great. He was great.
Yeah.
He's got to be, well, I mean, the winning goal the MVP usually goes to the winning goal, and you can't take anything away from Jack Hughes, who had problems. He had problems, but he came through. But if I'm voting for an MVP, I go with Hellebuck all the way.
I mean, if you look at the whole tournament, I think the Hughes brothers had something like 50% of USA's goals. I mean, Quinn and Jack combined. So, I mean, it's either MVP, I'd say maybe even to Quinn Hughes or to Hellebuck in the whole tournament. But, I mean, Hellebuck just put on a crazy show. But if you really look at the whole game, Canada was just a better team. I mean, there was at some point USA was just dumping the puck, like losing it, then dumping it again, or just icing after icing after icing, nonstop. But somehow we pulled through to overtime, and I mean, in overtime they also had a bunch of chances. Canada.
Yeah.
It was scary.
Yeah, it was scary. It was from our viewpoint, it was scary because the other thing was over and over and over again, Team USA was losing faceoffs. That's how Canada got the goal. It was less than 2 minutes left in the second period. They should have been able to leave, with a 1-goal lead. But they lost. That was a classic play, a textbook play. You got to win the faceoff. They lost the faceoff and went to the point and bang, and got the pass went to the right, and McCarr was in a good scoring position. You know, it's not like should have been an easy save. But my theory on goalie, and I've said this on the shows before, goalies go down when they don't have to go down. But consider all things considered also that it went into overtime. I mean, Hellebuck was just amazing, and you know, sometimes I'm not saying that the American coaches were letting them lose faceoffs and not having possession, but they hung in there. They hung in there, and the thing didn't go over that red line, or as they like to say now, which I hate, it didn't go into the back of the net. All it has to do is go over the line. It doesn't have to go over the back of the net. Although Jack Hughes did go to the back.
In the back.
I didn't even know he scored because for some reason it happened so fast. It happened so
I know.
fast.
My blood pressure, and it's not good for my nervous system. The whole game was like, I was so stressed.
You couldn't have been more stressed than me. I had.
Saba was up. He was up there.
I set a personal record for expletives deleted. I was very glad that nobody was in the house but family, tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But but we get very passionate. We get very passionate. And I was thinking, this has been a very challenging year for Abigail's team. They lost some very good players. And I was thinking, you know, when I watched game, whether we were able to watch these games wherever they're playing, and I keep yelling possession, possession. I was doing the same thing with Team USA.
He was coaching them.
Huh?
Said you were coaching them. You were helping Mike Sullivan.
But they weren't listening until the end.
Well, they did. They did listen.
Alena, I don't remember how the winning play, the goal on the winning play, how it started. All I remember that it came from Team USA's end, right? You remember it?
It was. I also kind of forget the play before that, but it was in our zone. Zach Morensky kind of shoved it out with one hand, shoveled it out, passed it back to who it was, and passed it to Morensky, and then Morensky to Jack. But it was. I thought Bennington. I mean, honestly, you can't overlook Bennington. Also, he played really good.
He did.
I was nervous a little bit about Bennington from beginning. I thought he might be a little shaky. He was good considering. I mean, he wouldn't compare with Connor, but I think he was good.
I wouldn't blame him. For sure, I wouldn't blame him on the winning goal. But you give the puck to Jack Hughes in that situation,
Absolutely.
You know he's as good a guy for that kind of shot as anybody in the league. But the first goal, the way he manipulated it, I don't remember whether it was the 5-hole or what, but he made the right play. I mean, there was nothing lucky about that play.
No.
Nothing lucky about the play.
No, I think they pulled it together. Canada choked. We could have played better. Connor McDavid could have done better job on this last game. He wasn't his 100%, maybe 60%, 70% tops.
Right.
That's an expression that I have said many times, that the dirtiest word in hockey, or in any sport, but hockey, is choke.
Yeah.
Not the best player not coming through. I'll give you one example, in a baseball example, if you don't mind a little baseball history. Greatest batter at the end of World War II, who was actually in combat, an aviator in the American Air Force, Ted Williams. He was the best player. I think he was the last player to hit over 400. And they played the Cardinals in the World Series. And what the Cardinals did was they had a special formation. It's called the Williams shift. And he hit very badly. And, whether you want to call it a choke or not, But the point is, the spotlight was on McDavid. And if before the game, I remember thinking to myself, if Team Canada wins this game 6-1, I would not be surprised because I have these guys who were game breakers up and down the line. And I realized while we were talking that the Tays was the Tays that the Islanders had traded.
Yeah.
So I was giving a little bit too much.
There was a couple of Islanders from those series back in, I think, 2022, 21 against Tampa Bay. Nelson was on the ice. He was on that team. I think Taves was on that ice. I think some other guy. But if you look at Canada's lineup, there was Taves, Makar, McKinnon. Was there another guy from Colorado?
Brock Nelson.
Oh yeah, but on USA. I'm just talking about Canada alone.
Yeah.
But Colorado had so many guys in the Olympics. They had Marty Necas also. I think Colorado's gonna get a good chance at the cup this year.
If they stay healthy, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They would be the favorite, yeah.
Alone.
Makar and McKinnon performance in Olympics, just the two of them, it's incredible.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, Team USA's two Jewish players, the Quinn boys, got the
Quinn boys and
Jack Hughes, the Hughes brothers,
and Morensky, the guy that got the assist was Jewish.
So it was very improbable, but I come back to what it is about hockey that's so special. And there are a lot of great expressions. When Cat Francis was coaching the Rangers, his line was, "Hockey is a slippery game. It's played on ice." And we close calls. Well, even the shot at the end of the second period was almost a goal. Remember?
Yeah.
In the last couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Hit the crossbar. Hit the crossbar.
For USA, I thought that was in. I was going crazy. I thought it was in, but it the left crossbar. It was crazy.
Yeah. If we didn't have replay, we would have said it should have been goal.
Yeah. I would have
Did
ruled
you
that
see that moment when the players started banging on the boards because there were too many men on ice?
The Canada.
Yes, the refs were brutal. They were brutal throughout the Olympics. I don't know why they let all the teams get away with this, but
we don't know how quickly you could count that thing. It's easy to say, the camera sees everything, but the camera is not a referee, and you got to be pretty damn sharp to be able to get all this. And I don't know whether they have they don't have a war room as you do in the NHL. So if this was an NHL game and there about 2 or 3 people in the war room or whatever they call it watching the thing, they could say, well, there should have been. I don't know exactly how it works, but the point is, if you want to go into this or that and the other thing, the Canada had a 5-on-3 for a long time.
yes,
Long time. And it's not that they blew it. The Americans did a tremendous job of killing that penalty, however they figured it out. And I have to say, because I ridiculed him a lot this season because of the Rangers' play, I think if Sully had this lineup all season, they wouldn't be worrying about making the playoffs, And so I'm saying the viewers are witnessing it, and Ariel is witnessing it. I am not going to criticize Mr. Sullivan for what he did in this game. The only thing he didn't do was make saves, right?
yeah,
And when he didn't make the saves, I was making the saves for Hellebuck. And I'm going to demand that he lend me the gold for at least 2 minutes. Anyhow, I'm glad I'm getting some laughs here.
Right.
Jeez.
Yeah,
I'd
well,
hate
my
to
team
think-
didn't listen to me. I nearly lost my voice. My throat is so sore right now. I yelled so hard, you probably could hear me in Israel.
What's very interesting when you think about it is that, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're a Leaf fan and a Leaf analyst and a Leaf. Matthews has been criticized this season as a Leaf, hasn't he?
Oh, yes, big time.
For what?
He's been criticized for not giving interviews after the games and letting other players handle the media.
Right.
Well, I'm going to tell you, and you can tell all your Maple Leaf fans and all of Canada, the only reason, don't laugh, you're laughing. I'm dead serious. She's laughing at me. I'll be dead serious anyhow. The only reason Matthew should be criticized is for that stupid mustache.
Now he can show the gold medal and be like, look at this. That would shut him up.
Look,
The smile I saw on his face. He never smiles, but that was something.
he made me smile too. I don't know what the heck he did tonight. To tell you the truth. What did he do?
He basically didn't do anything. But
He showed up for free ice.
Now that I think of it, I'm pissed off at him. But
he's been the same, I think, most of the season. I mean, he's been scoring, but he's kind of, I think, without Mitch Marner a bit, he's not what everyone thought he is, because Mitch Marner would give him like 40 assists a season.
that's do you realize how foolish that statement is?
Why?
Where would I be without you? I'd be tongue-tied tonight. I have to do like this for crying out loud. Anyhow, well, I wanted him to wear a tuxedo,
A tuxedo, by the way.
but it's interesting that I have to tell you, there were some guys on both teams that I was surprised that they were in the lineup. But who got the opening goal? He was not a guy that I would say he's going to be, a big factor in the game. And for them, it was interesting because first of all, when Team America scored the first goal, that's a confidence boost for them.
Yeah.
And, and they could have gotten out of the second period if they had lost the faceoff. But that was a tremendous confidence boost. I thought when they killed the 5-on-3 was going to be a great confidence boost. But again, hockey's crazy. It's very hard to figure. I thought of one game in my lifetime that this reminded me of. This would have been the best, arguably the greatest Red Wing team of all time was 51-52. I was in Toronto for game 3 of the first round. Detroit won 8 straight games to win the cup. Okay? They had the production line, Abel, Lindsay, and Howe, Red Kelly on defense, Bill Quackenbush, and the great Terry Sarchik. I mean, it's a phenomenal team. So this game was at the Garden, on Madison Square Garden. And it was the second part of a game where the teams were coming from Detroit to Madison Square Garden. And in those days, the game started at 8:30 at night at the Garden.
Very
Okay?
late. Yeah.
Well, not for that time. Not for that time. Yeah, it was an 8:30 game. So what happened was the teams they traveled by train. Teams were coming from Detroit to New York for the game, and there was a blizzard, big time blizzard, somewhere around Rochester, and the train got stuck. So there are something like 14,000 people, or 15, whatever the capacity was at the Garden, waiting for this game to start. And the teams weren't there because the train was stuck. So they came on the loudspeaker. In those days, there'd be Sunday afternoon game where the amateurs played. It was a doubleheader, and I was there. And then there's the night game. So the guys who played in the Met League were New York guys, New York guys, like super beer league guys, but really, really good for that. And they always stayed over to watch the Ranger game at night because they were hockey nuts like us. So what they did is they came out on the loudspeaker and they announced that the teams are coming, but we don't know when, okay? And not one person left. And they had the Met Leaguers get dressed, go to the dressing room, and they played a game, a 2-period game until the train pulled in and they came. And it was those guys were playing at a capacity crowd for the first time in their lives, Ranger fans, and it was an unbelievable game. I'll never forget the game. It was so unbelievable. Then, this is why I'm reminded tonight of that game. Then they finally show up. They don't start the game until 10:30 at night. Nobody left. And this great Red Wing team got beaten 1-0 by the Rangers. And Charlie Rayner, who is in the Hall of Fame, Charlie Rayner was the goalie like Hellebuck today. And he was able to win that game. They got him a goal, and he shut him out. Never forget that game.
Do you think the game would have gone differently if Crosby had been in the lineup? If he wasn't injured, would it help?
I'm giving you a hot classical tip. The very first hockey writer in the world, you know who the very first hockey writer in the world was? Well, I'm going to tell you now. His name was William Shakespeare. And
he didn't write about hockey.
William Shakespeare explained what, this is historic, what I'm telling you now. William Shakespeare was the first guy to explain exactly what you said. You said that Crosby was injured. And that comes to what if, right? What if Crosby was in the lineup, right? And what Shakespeare said, there is much virtue in if. You can if till the cows are coming home. Let's have a cow sound. Moo, moo. So you can wish until the cows come home if Sidney was playing, but he didn't play, okay?
Yes.
So
if my aunt had wheels, she would be a bicycle.
Right. And if elephants could fly, their name would be Dumbo.
Yes.
Okay. So don't give me a song and dance about if Crosby, never mind Crosby, if Celebrini had found what they call the back of the net on his breakaway, other guy, back of the net, just get it over the line and you don't have to what if anymore. I don't know what the heck.
It was an unseen hand that helped American team.
You know who coined the unseen hand?
Who?
You know that's a famous expression.
It is, yes.
You know who said it in hockey?
No.
The coach of the Montreal Canadiens, Dick Irvin, who won several cups with the Canadiens, and he coined the expression because the Leafs were underdogs in 46-47. The Canadiens were the defending champions. And there were two events, one of which was Rocket Richard being suspended for a game. So Dick Irvin said, you could look this up, there was an incident where Don Metz of the Maple Leafs, he was a third liner, knocked out El Malak, who was the center on the punchline. Rocket Rashad, El Malak at center, right? Until Blake. That was the punchline. And Don Metz had put El Malak out of action. So they didn't have a center on that line. And Dick Irvin said, if God is watching this series, we will win because of what Don Metz did to El Malak. Leafs won the series, won the cup, 4-2. Now, I don't know whether God was, refereeing or what, but so the unseen hand, Dick Irvin said, and he said that for anything that was weird, that defied logic, the unseen hand. No, we saw the seen hand, right?
Yes. How can you go, 5-on-3 and not score? That's the unseen hand. That's the only explanation for this.
There was some point in the game where some guy just like got the puck out of the crease with his hand.
Yeah.
I forget who it was, but that was pretty crazy.
That was a big. There was so.
Saba coached him to do that.
Huh?
He coached him to do that. He told him.
There was so many, from a fan viewpoint. There was so, and if somebody's rooting for Team USA, as I was and as Ariel was, there was so many close calls, and then they showed the close call and the replay. Well, you can't. You know what the great thing was for Team USA? They had the seventh man, the unseen hand.
Yes.
It
was Quinn Hughes's ghosts that he always stares at in this.
Played
Yes.
pretty well, didn't he?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think throughout the whole game, one of the only players that gave a boost of speed also to the game.
Hey.
Hello, Jerry.
How was your wife?
She's in a lot of pain. My wife never cries, never. And she's
I cried
bawling
today
her eyes
because
out.
we lost, but yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. Yeah, but it was a great game. It was, either team could have won.
I've seen better.
Well, either team could have won. They were so evenly matched. It was incredible. So,
yes.
Well, we disagree with you.
That was a great tournament.
We disagree with you, Jerry. On first of all, as I told Alena and my grandson here, Ariel, this was one of the greatest games I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'm older than you by a lot. In fact, I'm too older than you. So, but I was rooting crazy, and you missed about 40 to 90 curses from me per period. Might have been a record.
Ariel, did I meet you? Did I meet you in New York? Ariel, was that you that I met at the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame induction?
No, that was Adele.
Oh, okay. Oh, I couldn't remember. I'm not very good with faces and names. Oh, anyway, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Jerry, I just want to mention a couple of things at the beginning when you were away. My feeling about the game was that Canada dominated in terms of chances, dominated in puck possession, which I said was one or two things you need to win a game. Puck possession, which you guys had overwhelmingly, and the only thing that could negate that was the goaltending. And Hellebuck did all that you could in that way, and that was, and McDavid didn't deliver.
Yeah, McDavid could have done a better job.
That was the one huge advantage that the U.S. had over Canada was in goal. So it's not surprising. It's not a surprising result because, I mean, you can't blame Binnington. He played well. But, just wasn't meant to be this time. The U.S. was very strong, and just like I say, teams were evenly matched, and it was a great tournament. Like, man, the caliber of hockey has never been better ever. I just couldn't believe the pace, and
Oh my
man,
God.
it was so fun to watch.
Yeah,
Was it
but think of
stressful?
the
I'm still
melodrama
shaking.
the melodrama leading up to the game. Who would have believed? We wind up with Canada and America in the final, ending 1-1 at the end of 3 periods. I mean, you couldn't get a Hollywood script writer to write something. And how they got to the final. I thought America nearly got beat. Remember, they were down.
Yeah.
Well, we struggled with Finland. We almost got beaten. Makar saved us.
Right.
Was it Makar or McKinnon? Oh my God. Now I'm blanking.
And McKinnon scored the winner against Finland. Yeah.
McKinnon, scored.
So many overtimes, like this whole tournament. It's been insane. I mean, like the Quinn Hughes goal was amazing. Today, I mean, even the women's tournament, the gold medal game also was an overtime goal. I mean, it's just crazy.
In women's, we started kind of slow as well. So we saw that USA dominated women's hockey from beginning. With men's, we were unbeatable. I mean, Celebrini, McDavid, McKinnon, Makar. I mean, you couldn't put better team together. And we were very confident, but yeah.
Yeah, there was.
Well, we've watched with great personal interest the rise of women's hockey. I mean, when the only thing I knew about women's hockey for years was that the Bentley brothers, Max, Doug, and Reg, and the other males, I think they had 12 kids in the family, but the Bentley family, they had their own women's hockey team. They had 6 Bentley girls had their own hockey team. That was a wild thing. But to see, you think about women I would say up until at least 10 years ago, my idea of women's hockey, and I'm not kidding around either, was that they were playing wearing figure skates.
Really?
Not kidding. And I remember there was one classic game, America, Canada, and I'm watching this game. I was stunned how great the game was, and and it was cleaner than a man's game, but no less exciting. It was, and from that point on, I never would have imagined that my older granddaughter, Odell, who's now living in Dallas, Odell made the Israeli national team. When Slava Fetisov came to Israel with some sort of charity game, she was playing right wing on a line with Slava Fetisov. So unbelievable.
Yeah, that was crazy.
She played in international games. Before she stopped playing, she played against Bosnia, right?
Yeah, she played in Serbia in another tournament here. And she played against Bosnia. She played against Serbia, a bunch of countries, which was really cool. It was Division II IIHF.
And now Abigail, who was just turned 17, she's the captain of her Culver Academy's women's team, or girls team. She's got she's very devoted, very, very, very motivated. And she's the captain, and she's, got her eyes on colleges. She's got one offer already, a definite offer from a college. I don't want to mention, I shouldn't have mentioned, but in New Hampshire. But, nowadays, we've got a women's professional league, right?
Very impressive, yeah. And Ariel, what position did you play in hockey?
I played left wing and center, but mostly I was centers. I was good on face-offs. And actually, the guy that taught me how to be really good on face-offs was Bobby Halik.
Oh, wow.
He was here for, I think it was 2 summer camps. He was with us here. And I would just, even after we were on the ice, I would just stay with him extra time. And he would just show me like what's what where you should put your hand, or even where you should place your legs sometimes, or if you're taking a face-off on your bad side. And he's just a great mentor for me, and just an incredible hockey person to be around. Two
Oh,
Stanley
he's
Cup.
such an incredible person. Like he's so patient, and I think he would be a great coach. Well, he was coaching, right, in Israel.
Coached the Israeli national team to a medal. I think the tournament was in Mexico City. I'm not sure.
It was, yeah.
And he told me that he rather not coach, like a college or that kind of pressure. But he was magic. He was magic. He took a team wouldn't have dreamed of getting a medal, and it was because of him.
He was an incredible player. He was a Leafs destroyer. He loved playing Leafs. He did it so well.
Well, the best advice I heard for taking face-offs was we had a former NHLer, I don't even remember who it was, came down and instructed some of our centers on the art of face-offs, and his advice was make sure you're hyper focused. You take everything out. You don't fans, game, situation, nothing matters but the dot. And he says, focus on that and cheat like hell.
Just get one job done. Get the puck.
That was his advice.
It's funny because the two guys in my lifetime who were outstanding on face-offs were Tita Kennedy of the Maple Leafs, who was won 5 cups for the Leafs. And that was the first time I was ever aware of somebody being, somebody who was a face-off specialist. And then later on, Bobby Clark, captain of the Flyers. And that's where I heard cheating helps on face-off. Cheating helped the Flyers in a lot of ways, but what we were yelling and screaming, what I was yelling and screaming at was the Canadians were winning all the face-offs, which began the possession thing. But I have a question for Jerry, who is the goalie. On the first goal, the first goal of the game, the Team USA goal, should Bennington have stopped it?
Speaking as a goalie, I'm always of the opinion that sometimes the puck just wants to go in, so
The unseen hand.
I'm very reticent to blame the goalie, but at 50-50, if you had a Logan Thompson in there who is a left-handed goalie, maybe he makes that save, but then maybe he doesn't make others. So it's like, it's so tough, and the goaltending position is unique in the sporting world. I mean, you can maybe say soccer goalies are the same, but it's a different world. Soccer is different than hockey. So, the pressure, the gold medal, the whole world watching, like I say, sometimes the puck just wants to go in. So he more than made up for it if it was indeed his fault. Like that save he made in overtime, that glove save. Oh my God. I don't think there's a goalie in the world who would make that save other than Binnington. That was amazing. It's too bad that, it would just, delaying the inevitable.
Well, you couldn't fault him on the Hughes goal. Couldn't fault.
No, in my opinion, that was Makar's fault.
In what way?
Well, he had a chance to gain possession of the puck, and he backed off, and he made some half-hearted attempt to drag it towards him, and of course that's not going to work, and he just gave up possession of the puck. Like, in my opinion, that was a very weak attempt.
That's where Schaefer would probably be better on the team. I mean, watching Makar, I think he was better on offense than defense the whole Olympics. What do you think, Jerry?
Yeah, well, that's the knock on Quinn Hughes too. I mean, he's just not that big, and he's not a presence. He when he has the puck, he's amazing, but without the puck, in when Vancouver played Nashville in the playoffs, Nashville just kept running Hughes like over and over and over. It was sickening to watch, and the Canucks had no answer. They wouldn't do anything about it, and so McCarr's a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger physically, and I think he can handle himself a little bit more. But that was the way that I saw it was indecision. He had to make a decision one way or the other, and he didn't make either. So and yeah, it just to me was like, what are you doing? It's just like, man. And then of course Quinn puts one in off the or Jack Hughes puts one in off the post, and game over. But
Did that hit the post?
I think it did. I'll have to see the replay. I only watched as soon as the goal went in. I shut the TV off.
I turned it off. I turned it off, and I was like, "That's it."
So I was cooking breakfast for my daughter, so I just like I said, my heart just went flew.
Yep.
So and then now I can be analytical about it, but I'll have to go back and rewatch the game.
Well, when you rewatch it, what I told Ariel was that I didn't know that it was a goal based on the announcer. I mean, we used to shoot these scores with the yell, and I didn't realize it was a goal until I saw him raising the stick.
Yeah, he started.
It was so fast. It went so fast.
No, I knew right away, and I was watching it with the sound off. So, so it just, I have a hard time with the announcers. They kind of annoy me because I know what I'm watching. I know what I'm looking at. They don't have to tell me. So
who were the announcers? Did you
Chris
watch it on the Canadian network?
Yeah, Chris Cuthbert, and I can't remember who the color guy is, but Chris Cuthbert's pretty good, but like I say, announcers in general annoy me. So just because I feel like I know what I'm seeing, and I don't need their input.
Tell me, I can see it myself.
Yeah. So yeah, because when I was playing, like I always took pride in the fact that I could see where everybody was on the ice for both teams. I knew where everybody was at all times. I didn't get surprised very often. And one day I'll tell you a story about one time that I did get surprised. But yeah, it's just so I have an intricate knowledge of where everybody is and what they're doing and why they're doing it. And so I don't need the extra annoyance in my head. So
well, I
Jerry,
wanted
I have one question to Mave. Would anything be different if Crosby was playing? That was a big loss for us. I think it would be different. His presence on ice,
of course,
I think it would be different.
I mean, you take that experience out of the lineup, it's bound to make a difference. I mean, and Crosby's just he's a legend now. He's a living legend. So, but yeah, it's too bad, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So you go with their injuries. It could easily have happened to the Americans, and it did happen to one team. One guy got carried off on a stretcher. I can't remember, and his season is over now.
For Switzerland, he
he plays for Los Angeles Kings, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that's always the risk you take. That you send these guys to the Olympics, they can get hurt, and especially with the contracted season and playing so many games in so few days. And these guys who go to the Olympics, it's even worse because they only get a couple of days off, whereas their teammates get 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks off.
From your goalie viewpoint, Jerry, would you fault on the tying goal? Would you fault that play? Goalie should have had it when it was 1-0. It was an angle shot by Makar.
Yeah. No, No, it was a good goal. I think it was a good goal. So I'm not going to judge anybody on that one. It was just the run of the play. Canada was dominating for large parts of the game. I mean, there were times where the Americans couldn't even touch the puck, let alone rush it up the ice. So, it was bound to bound to happen. So they weren't going to shut them out. So, yeah, no, I thought it was a good goal.
One of my Ranger friends, who's been watching a lot of hockey. He's up. I think he's at least about 50, so he's seen a lot of hockey, and mostly this season. At the end of the second period, after Canada tied it, he sent me an email. He said, watching the Americans is like watching the Rangers this season. That's how dominating it was.
Yeah. Well,
It seemed inevitable that Canada would bust it open in the third period.
yeah, it was looking that way, but yeah. But Hellebuck stood strong, and the guy that I'm happy for is Trocheck. So he's at least got the gold medal to because the Rangers are having such a horrible season. So I'm kind of happy for him.
I was really surprised. I was really surprised with them bringing on Trocheck and Miller. I mean, Miller had a better tournament, I think, but instead of like Caulfield or something like that. But it was interesting. I think they were just doing it off of experience. Even though I think Canada should have brought Barzal on instead of Horvat or something like that, or maybe instead of Jarvis. I think he would have been a better fit, but
Oh, Horvat's a center and Barzal's a winger. So and Horvat's a great face-off guy. So you got to have those role players. You could put together a super all-star team, but if it usually doesn't work because you need those role players that the third and fourth line guys who are going to understand that they're not the star of the team anymore, and they've got a definitive role to play, which is check, and pot
Right.
the odd goal. So Barzal would have been a great addition. He's a local kid here from Coquitlam, so we love him. But yeah, it would have been great to see him on the team, and he's great for the Olympic game because he's got so much speed. But like I say, Horvat, great two-way centerman and good on the face-off. So I'm sure that's why they took him. But yeah, Barzal's a great player, no doubt.
Okay, let me start with you. Pick the 3 stars of the game.
Well, number 1, Hellebuck. I want to say number 2, maybe give it to someone from Canada. Number 2, probably I'd say Makar. He played a really good game. And then I think the third one I want to give it to Jack because he won.
Gotta give it to him.
Yeah, Jack won the game.
Yeah, you gotta give it to Hughes. Yeah. So yeah. And in any event, it was a great tournament. I enjoyed every second of it. It was such high octane hockey. Even Slovakia and Germany, even and Latvia, they were fun to watch. I mean, there wasn't as Mave would put it, there wasn't a schlemiel in the pot. Just like they were all great. And yeah, I enjoyed watching every game. It was such high level hockey, and man, I can't wait for when will it be 2030 when we have it again. So
it really shows that Europe is at that level. I mean, many Canadians and Americans underestimate how good Europe is. I mean, Finland, it was a dark horse, right? Remember, Maeve, you predicted that Finland's going to win. We almost lost to Finland. It was a really, really close game. And if McKinnon didn't save us, we don't know how it would have gone.
Yeah, maybe your prediction of Finland winning it came pretty close to coming true. So they got the bronze.
Czechia came pretty close also in the overtime. Mitch Marner came through. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have to admit that I've been long vehemently opposed to going with having pros. I always wanted to see it the way we saw it in 60, we saw it in 80, where they were non-pros. But the players wanted this. The players worked very hard over the years to get this in. The owners didn't want their men in the Olympics because of injury problems, possibilities. But after this was perfect. This was like the one they had earlier. Came down to the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, you couldn't script this. It was just impossible, right down to the very end, right down to the end.
Yeah, it was pretty emotional. Also, in there when they brought the Goudreau jersey out, that was amazing. They also wore, I mean, when you saw the white jersey, they wore his jersey that he had. Also, it was just amazing. Seeing that, like all
was
the
it at the end after they won?
Yeah, they showed
I didn't look. I turned it off.
Matthews, and I forget who else, but they brought out the jersey, and you could see that, you could see that they were just happy, and they also cut to Goudreau's dad. It was just so emotional, but you could also see that they had heart, and they played for him also and stuff. It was
very good point.
That was really amazing to see also.
Good point. There were a lot of nice things happened, but to that they remembered Goudreau was very touching. Very touching. So what's going to happen now? Who's going to get traded? What are we going to do? What's going to happen in Vancouver with the Canucks? Give somebody away?
I'm feeling it's going to be a yard sale at the trade deadline. I think anybody who can be traded is going to be traded. And I thought the first to go would be Philip Hronek, but apparently he wants to stay, and because he'd be a prized commodity. I mean, man, we could get a king's ransom for him because he's a solid defenseman, and so with a heavy shot. And so I thought, but apparently he wants to stay, but I think Connor Garland, I think Jake DeBrusk, I think they're all on the trading block. I think anybody who's not got a no movement clause, I think, and even the ones that do, maybe will be asked to waive them. So I think they're gonna rip it right down to the studs and start over again, because they've got 2 first-round draft picks in the first round, and they've got all their other draft picks, and so they could retool pretty quick. The 3 players that they got from Minnesota for Quinn Hughes are all solid players. They look like they're going to be very, very good, and so it could be a quick turnaround here where we if they do it right and build through the draft, I think within 2 or 3 years, I think we could be right back to where we were in 2011.
Why do you think everyone wants, what fell apart there in Vancouver that everyone wants to leave, or the team just, kind of really fell off this year? What do you think?
I don't necessarily think they want to leave. I mean, Besser signed again, to my surprise. Last summer, I thought he was gone. I thought he would sign with Minnesota because that's where he's from, and whatnot. They had an up and coming team, and so I was shocked that he re-signed with Vancouver. So apparently not everybody wants to leave, but I think it's going to be up to management just to impose their will and say, we gotta do this right from rock bottom. And because they're not even close, they're like 8 points back from the next worst team, so it's not like they're on the verge of winning again. It's like it's devastating, and it's just they have. I don't understand why they're so bad. If you look up and down their lineup, it doesn't make any sense. So there's got to be some toxicity in the dressing room, and they got to fix that. So because the guys aren't playing for each other.
I asked the question because there's been really big trades coming out of Vancouver in the last couple of years. I mean, Horvat, now Hughes. There was also one in between there. So it was just kind of interesting, like the whole Vancouver thing.
Well, the Vancouver Ranger connection has been very interesting. Very interesting. Not that it's
I've said that. Our mutual friend George Grimm and I discussed this. That we were amazed at the it goes all the way back to the Western Hockey League Canucks. We had Johnny Bauer, and he went to the Rangers, and the amount of players that have played for both teams is incredible. I mean, Kirk McLean, Doug Lidster, I could go on and on. Nathan, I'm drawing a blank on his name now, but it just goes on and on and on. It's crazy the interlinking of the two teams, and so I'd really like to do a deep dive on that because it's very interesting.
Well, Johnny Bauer was considered washed up. He was playing, and he liked playing for the Cleveland Barons so much that when the opportunity to come to the NHL presented itself, he didn't want to go. His family wanted to stay in Cleveland and finish it out. And we had him in New York. He had a 2.60 goals against average, played every single game, and just missed the playoffs because some nasty Bruin broke Ed Gilprod's leg in the last 2 weeks of the season. And then he goes to Toronto, and phenomenal, unbelievable what he did. Imagine he comes to the Leafs and they win the cup in 62, 63, 64. And then when he's older than the Pyramids, they win the damn cup a fourth time. 4 cups, this guy's unreal. Unreal story.
Yeah. Here, just a sec. Hang on.
There he is.
No, that's really cool.
And what a nice guy. He could win an award as nicest guy in hockey. That's
it's signed Johnny Bauer, #1, Hockey Hall of Fame, 76. So, friend of my wife sold that to me for $40 in a book.
Worth it.
The bargain.
Johnny Bauer was a teammate of Terry Sawchuk at the end, which was a great combo. But who was his backup before that? Do you remember?
Oh man,
very good story. Don Simmons.
Don Simmons. Wow. Okay.
Because Imlach, before Imlach came to Toronto, he was in the American League. He worked for the Bruins, and Simmons was with Springfield. And Springfield was owned by Eddie Shore, and Eddie Shore did not want any goaltender to go down on the ice. And what he did with Don Simmons during practices, he would have him tied with a rope to the net. Imagine that. That's how. But he was good. He was good for the Bruins. He also played pretty good for the Rangers. He was okay. He was okay.
And his son made it to the NHL as a goalie too, I recall. I don't remember his name. Gary Simmons? I can't remember. But yeah, I remember him with the Bruins. I don't remember him with anybody else.
Well, this is going to be a terrific way for Hellebuck to celebrate after all the hardship that he's had. And you can't fault Bennington. He did as good as he could go.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, like I say, the teams were so even. The goaltending favored the U.S. and that's what brought them the gold medal. It's tough to take being a Canadian, but we can't win it every time. So it's good for hockey that Canada doesn't win every time. So we'll see them again in 2030.
Okay, serious, T-Bag. Your team is not going to win the cup. Tell us who's going to win the cup.
I'm sticking with Vegas. I think they're not done trading, and I just think the hockey gods smile on them like nobody's business. And so, I think Colorado, everybody wants to pick Colorado. And the problem with that is they're going to be home and cooled by, the end of this month. They'll be they'll be solidly in a playoff spot. They won't have much to play for. So, the teams that come up, and qualify late in the season, those are the ones who've been playing playoff hockey since January. And so I think Colorado's going to have a tough time. It's like the Bruins a few years ago when they finished with like some ungodly number, 189 points or something, and Florida finished eighth, and I picked Florida to win that game, that series. And so,
who's going to win the cup?
Who's going to win the cup?
Yeah, tell us.
Um,
Tell us why.
I mean, honestly, he's going to hate this, but I've really enjoyed watching the Islanders play. Because they have the goalie, they have Sorokin, they have also a fairly good backup. Hopefully Varlamov comes soon. But Schaefer is so energetic. Barzal is just playing also really good. Horvat's playing amazing when he's not injured.
Sorokin.
Yeah, and also Palat now, bringing in some veterans, and in general, just Darsh has just done such a good job to bring this team back up after kind of being on a slump. So I want to see them make a really good playoff run. So I'm going with the Islanders.
You know what the problem is?
What?
They have to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that Metropolitan Division is bunched up. Nobody expected Pittsburgh to do so well. And, you got Washington with Ovechkin in there, very experienced. Tom Wilson. It's not going to be easy for the Islanders, put it that way. It's not going to be easy. Mm-hmm. And who would have believed that the kid would be playing this good on defense? I mean, there's kids carrying that team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's a great kid.
What do you think? What do you think of Patrick Waugh as coach, though? You think he's a good coach?
Well, he's a good coach because they're in a better position than we thought they would be. He was able to get the best out of this 18-year-old kid, and he loses his reliable backup in Varlamov. And they brought in Rittich, and he's done pretty well. They're in a better position than we thought they would be because of the kid, and despite the loss of Varlamov. And I have to give credit to the coach, some credit to the coach. I mean, how can we knock them? There are guys that he didn't like from last year, and they got rid of them. And there were a couple of guys he'd like to dump in the Long Island Sound if he could. So they're not at all a powerful team. Now, of course, they could get hot, but they got to get in first, and competition is tough.
I feel like for me, the teams that I've enjoyed watching the most this year are the Islanders and the Canadiens. The Canadiens are just such an energetic team and just fun to watch, and so many good guys on there now. I mean, Montembeault is playing really good. And now they have Dobson, they have Suzuki, Caulfield, Sofkovsky. I mean, so many guys that are just young and energetic. So they've been really fun to watch.
And they got a good coach.
Yeah.
Very good coach.
Yeah, well, I think they'll go as far as Cole Caulfield takes them because he's their spark plug. He if they lose him, man, they'll be in big trouble. But he is absolutely fun to watch. I mean, I couldn't believe he wasn't on the U.S. team. I mean,
I brought that up earlier.
Why wouldn't they, to me, it would have been a no-brainer. Right?
You can't put them off. There's many didn't make the Olympics, but should have.
The other thing that I was disappointed in is overtime going to 3-on-3 rather than.
Yes. I agree. I was surprised when they were 3-on-3 in the overtime.
I was surprised when we didn't score 5-on-3. We didn't use up our chances. That was a big mistake.
Oh, here's a question for Alena. 2030, do you think Russia will be back in the Olympics?
I think next time they will come back. It's a shame Ovechkin won't be there, but I think they will be.
He'll only be 44. I don't know. He can be there.
I mean, it's not the same level hockey without Russia. Like, I mean, the top
Yeah,
3 teams,
definitely. Yeah.
and you want to see the
Yeah.
best
Can
of
you?
the best.
Yeah. Can you imagine if Latvia was out and Russia was in? Like it just would have made the tournament, that much better.
Well, it would be different. Who knows who would have won? I mean, I don't know all the players on the Russian team. I mean, not all of them play in NHL. I mean, goaltending itself would keep us in the game, right? All the Russian goalies.
Kucherov, that's it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just want to say since I've seen a lot of it so far this season, I think there's going to be a surprise cup winner. I really do. I don't even know if Florida's going to make that.
I don't think they
Yeah.
will. With all the injuries, I mean, Marchand didn't really perform that well in the Olympics. I barely saw him. Well, he missed 2 or 3 games, right? But I think he could have done a bit more.
Yeah, he started waking up towards the end. He started rushing it a bit more and stuff. You could see it. He also created that opportunity that was really close, but most of the game he was pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Well, I've often said that there is a joke for every occasion. And tonight we were saying that, at least I said, I didn't even know the winning goal was a winning goal. And the joke is that in Central Park, two tortoises mugged a snail. And the cop comes over to the snail, takes out his card, and he asks the snail, he says, "So tell me, what happened?" And the snail says, "I don't know, it happened so fast." And the goal happened so fast. And there you are.
Yeah.
I'm giving
it was
him
a
the
great tournament.
as Rookie of the Year for the show.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Well, we're all rookies. So, but
Right.
thanks a lot, Ariel, for coming on. And
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep tonight.
Don't have too many flashbacks.
I know, right? Thanks to everyone for listening. Make sure you subscribe, follow, and share Bottle Rocket. Thank you, Ariel. Thank you, Mave. Thank you, Jerry. And we'll catch you next time.
All right, thank you.
Never switch on the homies in the day ones. They didn't